Here's the next video. Sorry for the delay here. The last policy I have, backing up one step. The next policy is grading and feedback. So I have, as an instructor at BYU Idaho, I am required to grade all assignments within 7 days. That's the reason why I will only accept late work up to 5, because I need a day or two to finish grading and submit feedback. I submit feedback, and I trust that you read it. I will show you on iLearn where you can access that. But if I say something in an assignment that you miss points because of such and such, I hope that on future assignments you fix that problem. Otherwise, I will continue to dock points each time. I have no bad feeling about that. You need to understand, you need to read the feedback and go through that and understand where you can improve your assignments for next time. Connected with feedback is proofreading. This is a college course, and I expect college writing. I am not an English teacher. I'm not a grammar teacher. I don't know all the time where exactly the comma goes, but I do know how to spell check my assignments. I do know where a period goes. I do know that the first letter of a sentence is capitalized, and you may laugh, but in previous courses I have dealt with problems like that. So my policy is if there is more than 3 spelling or grammar errors in your assignment, I will deduct points. Now, as I said, I'm not a Nazi police on grammar. I'm not gonna pick through it with a fine-tooth comb. But if it's hard for me to understand the sentence because there's misspelled words or because there's no periods and it's just a complete run-on sentence, and that comes up several times throughout your assignment, I will deduct points. And I will give you that feedback so that you can improve on it. What I find sad but funny is when I pull up some students' assignments into a Word document to grade them, my Word document will go through and spell check, and there'll be little red squiggly lines all over the place. So at least take the time to run spell check. That's what Word document, Microsoft Word has for us, and use it. If you have questions about that or are concerned about it, let me know if you really struggle with that. But please just proofread. That's all I ask. The next element of this course that you don't have to worry about being graded on or memorizing, but it's something that I do, is applying the course material. I am all for reading the textbook. I'm all for students learning the actual parts of development and learning the theories and learning all of that. However, if you don't apply the course material into your own life, into areas of your own life, it doesn't do you any good. That's great that you memorized all these theories and all these facts of when an infant should sit up or the stages of puberty and things like that. But if you can't apply it to your life, you're not going to remember it. You're not going to take that knowledge into your life. And so each unit I will go over 5 areas that the course applies. The first one is the gospel. I love BYU schools. I love church schools for that purpose, that we can take a gospel perspective on classes, even in the science fields, even in quantum physics, there's some application to the gospel. As a student, for my master's, I did not complete at a church school, and it was a void that I felt throughout the 2 years that I wish I could share as it pertained to the course, share things about the gospel, but I could not because of the university I was at. Obviously, with child development and the gospel, we believe in families. Obviously, we believe that we are here to create families and to be a part of families. That family is the true joy and happiness of our life. And so throughout this course, I hope that you will learn what a blessing and privilege it is to be a part of families and to watch them develop. The second area that I will look to apply the course material is as a parent, either now or future, or also as a family member in case you don't have children at this time. You still have cousins and nieces and nephews and people like that. Obviously, this course will be very applicable to that as you are raising your own children or helping raise your relatives. The third area is the professional world. Many of you are pursuing careers such as education, therapy, even some science fields, genetic testing, genetic counseling, where you will need to understand the development of a child. The fourth area is in a church calling. Hopefully many of you have church callings. And whether you work with primary, young men, young women, if you're a visiting teacher as someone that has kids, if you're a home teacher as someone with kids, you're working with kids. Even if it's just going to sacrament and being surrounded by kids, if you're in a family ward. In a church calling, this material, as far as child development, will be helpful to you. The last area is as a community member. Each of you play an active role in creating a positive environment for children. Think about your own childhood and how your neighbors and your school teachers and your friends' parents, all of those community members played a part in your development. For me, it was my neighbor who called the police on us for playing too late at night, but it was also the neighbor that let us play in her backyard, in her treehouse. Everyone in my community had an influence on my development, for good and bad. So we'll talk about how you can have how you as a community member can influence child development. Each video lecture I will end with a spiritual thought. When I first read the Book of Mormon several years ago, my favorite story is in 3rd Nephi, and it's when Jesus Christ tells the multitude to behold your little ones. And as the picture shows on this slide, that's exactly what I imagine Jesus Christ doing, is getting on his hands, on his knees, with the children surrounding him. And with that, in Psalms, there's a verse that says, "Children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward." And what I love about this verse is we live in a society where having children is looked down upon by some. Perhaps procrastinated because of worldly goals, and I value those choices. We each have the freedom to choose what we want, but what this verse tells me is that children are a reward. I look at my child, and as much work as it is, she is an absolute blessing, and it is a privilege to raise her in the gospel. It is a privilege that Heavenly Father has given us, and I encourage you to look at children as a privilege and as a blessing rather than a burden that perhaps our society has started to do. Last but not least, my contact information. Here's my email address. It's provided on iLearn. It's all over the place, but here it is, as well as my phone number. I will tell you, email is always faster for me. I can check my email and respond a little bit better than I can on the phone, especially because if you call me, there might be a screaming toddler in the background. So typically I won't answer, and you'll leave a message, and I'll call you back as soon as I have a quiet moment, but email is typically faster still. I do need to put out a reminder or an announcement. As I mentioned earlier, we're welcoming a little boy this month, so I will be at the hospital for hopefully 2 days, hopefully not longer, but I will send an email out as soon as I can once I'm admitted and everything, or have my husband do it, letting you know that my communication may be delayed. So during that time, once that email is sent out, if you have an emergency, please call me. And you'll still have to leave a message, but I'll probably be able to get back to you faster at that point. And then I'll email you once I'm home and able to respond to emails again. But just be aware of that. Sometime in the month of January, hopefully, that will be happening, and it may just cause a slight delay. So we are going to move into a tutorial on iLearn now. I'm going to go over a whole bunch of stuff on iLearn and sharing my screen so you can see where everything's located and understand it a little bit better. So let me pause this and let me get over to iLearn, and then we'll pick up right there. All right. So this is iLearn. Hopefully you've been able to log on, you have access to the course already, but this will just be a brief tutorial of where to find things, where things are located, and I encourage you to spend some time exploring it as well. When you log in under instructor profile, here's my lovely picture, some information about me. Here is the link for virtual office hours. And so you will need to go to that link and sign in, and then you will access my office hours. Again, there's the schedule that I shared, and I'll show you where it is in here as well. Here's my email address and my phone number to contact me at again. Then there's notes from instructor. These notes from instructor pages, combined with these video lectures and any slideshows that I post, take the place of in-person lectures. So they're really important to read through. There's a lot of valuable information in these notes, and you need to understand them and read through them. It's where I'll post helpful hints, feedback from previous units, things like that. So please read through them. This one it looks a little bit different than the other ones will, and I'll show you a real notes from instructor page. Under course, you will find the course syllabus. It lists the textbook that is required for this course. You need the textbook. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You will need it. There is an online ebook that you can purchase as well. It doesn't matter to me which one you use. So here are all the requirements of the course. Here's a rundown, a little bit more of each assignment. I encourage you to read it as far as how many points each are, things like that. And then also the percentages for grading final grades at the end of the semester. Here's the course schedule that I shared earlier. It's available right here as well, and it's the same document with the due dates in red, as well as the final exam due date. And then it also lists each of the assignments that are due. Here's my office hour schedule. Again, I will email reminders out throughout the semester, but pay attention to that. And then there's also just the university policies, the honor code, things like that. And then any more references. This is all through the university that they add to my course. So you can look through that on your own time. So I'm going to close these windows. Then you click on Introduction. There's an orientation to online learning. There's a video that pops up. There it is. That I encourage you to watch. It's just 3 minutes. And it goes into a little bit more detail about online courses, what the requirements are, things like that. Again, this comes from the university as their document and their video. Then there's Notes from Instructor page, and this is what a real one looks like. So every Notes from Instructor page will have a to-do list. Typically that involves all the assignments. But here it's complete the pre-test for the course, read through all the documents, understand them, email me with questions, and then watch, of course, this lecture podcast for more information. And the link is provided. It's not here right now, but I add it when I add the video to YouTube. It will give you the due date for assignments, some helpful hints, the class policies. These will be on every Notes from Instructor page so that you don't forget. And then the application, of course, material. And I encourage you to read through these. And then a spiritual thought. What's great about this is it's also a discussion board. So if you have questions, you can click on New Thread and go down here. It will pop up and you can write a question to me and post it if you have a question regarding this unit, and I can answer it for all students to see. If it's an individual personal question, just send me an email. But if it's a question that you think all students would benefit from, then go ahead and ask it here. And then, of course, check back for my response. Once again, under the introduction, these documents are provided again, the course overview, the course schedule, the course syllabus. They're all there for you to look at. Then here's the pre-test that you can take. It's not graded. It's basically for me to show where you are now. So I understand what areas of development we may need to focus more on. And it's also a good pre-test, post-test with the final exam to see how much learning has happened. So then after this introduction folder starts the 5 units. You'll notice unit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the introduction week is the first week of the semester. So it runs from January 6th through, well, January 4th through the 9th, because online classes start technically on the 4th. Then starting Monday, January 11th through Wednesday, January 27th, which is 2.5 weeks, you're in Unit 1. Okay. However, this material is available to you before January 11th. It's available obviously cheap.